Hey everyone, David C. Anderson from the Knife Center coming at you from SHOT Show 2024. We're here at the Tops booth with Mr. Craig Powell himself. How are you, sir?
Doing well, good to see you.
Good to see you as well, as always. Got some new stuff to take a look at here. Some of it, a couple things you may have seen already. We're going to save those to the end, but we've got some recent releases and some new prototypes to take a look at. And there's some things that just make me smile in this lineup. You'll know exactly when we get to it. So let's talk about the new reintroduction of the Shadow Hunter.
So first up, this is a re-release, and we just launched it last Tuesday, which I don't remember what, like January 11th, something to that.
It's kind of like last time has no meaning at SHOT Show.
Yeah, I'm lost already. But yeah, so this knife is based on a model that we made probably close to 20 years ago, if not that long ago. The newer version has a slightly longer blade, has a little bit of adjustment on the handle, jimping, it was changed a little bit. We widened the finger choil on it. The original finger choil was like barely a finger choil.
Right.
So just some little tiny adjustments, and it's just, I don't know, it's just a really good blade. The stacked handle adds a lot of aesthetic to it.
Sure.
It's also a little bit thicker than the original version's handle was, with a good contour.
Yeah, feels really solid in the hand. It's a great blade. Like, what's it about? 4.5 to 5?
Four and a half, yeah, about 4.5, yeah.
1095 carbon, I'm assuming.
Correct. That's a tungsten Cerakote, so thinner than the powder coat, smoother than powder coat.
And helps prevent the corrosion as well,
Absolutely.
of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that blade. Like, it's in the name. It's hunting knife all the way, but any kind of outdoorsy pursuit, you're going to have a good time with that, for sure.
For sure.
And
Agreed.
Kydex sheath coming with this typically.
Yes.
And
Kydex sheath, rotating belt clip, tan Kydex on this one.
Nice, yeah. I love that the extra little detail with the liners there. Feels good, solid. Should be able to get it from Knife Center very, very soon indeed.
Yes. All right. Next up is a weird little project that we kind of fell into, but it's gonna work out. It's been really cool.
And these are one of the things that really, it's already there. The grin is on the face. Like
they're standing out above and beyond a lot of other things here. But we have some miniature knives. We have three of our top selling models that we brought here. There are more that we have kind of planned. We just ran out of time before the show.
Sure.
Leo actually decided he wanted to do these about a week and a half ago.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of time.
And hit up our guy that runs the CNC machines. He's like, hey, I know you're done with prototypes, but we're not quite done. And he was like, I'll see what I can do. And he was able to pull off these three. We've got El Chapo, El Chete, and the Frog Market Special.
These are just phenomenal.
They're roughly 60% of the full-size model. The only adjustments we did from the original, other than just shrinking them down, the only adjustments we did was on the El Chete and the El Chapo to just make enough room for an index finger.
Sure,
the handles are going to get a little too tight.
That's what's like tripping my brain out. Like the El Chete, but the El Chapo especially, like this handle works.
Yeah.
It's 2.5, maybe 3 finger handle depending on your hand size. I don't feel like this blade is going to fall out of my hand.
No, feels good. Feels good.
It's like stupidly solid.
Yeah. So we're still not sure exactly 100% where we're going with these. We may end up doing limited type runs. We may end up doing almost like novelty type items. The ones that we have here, these are actual knives. So even though they're mini versions of a full-size knife, they're still knives.
They still cut.
They're still the same materials actually as the full-size companion. Same heat treat, same finishes. So we didn't skimp anywhere. Yeah. Other than just the size.
Right. Well, even on the El Chete, that is still a full-size blade.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, heck, let's hold it up.
Right?
To the Shadow
it's like a 5.5-inch knife.
You got more edge on this than you do on this.
Yep. And so we're still playing around with them a little bit. We're trying to figure out exactly where we're going. But depending on the feedback and what people want, it's easily possible that these will just be models that we make.
It's just too much fun, man. Like these are both interesting. I could see like the two like choppers brought down being just like kind of beater utility knives, breaking down cardboard or anything. But honestly, the Frog Market Special Mini is to me personally, this is kind of a standout.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought the original Frog Market Special is great and highly underrated.
Agreed.
In your lineup.
Yeah, agreed.
It's an excellent thing, but not enough people know about it.
Yep.
And it works really great in this small size. You got a thin blade compared to these two.
Yeah.
And, great little handle size. Excuse us, sir. Oh. But you got a thin blade going on here. Great handle size. That's 3 fingers for my hands. And it could still do like the kitchen-y stuff that the Frog Market Special does. You could do the paring knife stuff, but just a great little EDC fixed blade right there.
Yeah.
Especially like rig up a pocket sheath or something for that.
Oh yeah, a pocket
fantastic.
sheath is the only way I see that one going.
Man.
Yeah, and maybe a neck knife, but I would personally carry it in my pocket.
I'm gonna, if you make that happen, I'm gonna have to purchase one myself.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, very, very cool knives. So the next one is a mini, but it's not a miniature version of a full-size knife. This is just the knife. But what's cool about this one is it's from our Employee Design Challenge. So every year we do this challenge where we give a set of parameters to our employees and we say, hey, design a knife. Whoever wins, we're going to make it. You're going to be credited as the designer. It gets people who make widgets all day, it gives them a chance to kind of think about what their widget is for. Like the guy making the handles doesn't think about the blades very much. The guy putting things together doesn't think about who's making them. It's you kind of get your blinders on and you just do your job.
So yeah, I didn't even ever think about that as kind of like a training exercise, really.
Yeah.
In addition to just being a cool thing to do.
And so every year it gets better and better. This last year, the only thing we told them was make us a knife that is 6 inches or less, neck knife. No,
go from there.
No, we didn't talk to him about what to use it for. We didn't talk to him about anything else. Just 6 inches, go. And so we had everything. We had some drop points. We had some Scandi type knives. We had some tactical type knives. Everything. And there were easily 4 or 5 that Leo and I were like, we could make all of these. We could make all of these, and they'd be great. We landed on this one. Great utility knife. It's got a pretty thick stock, but a high grind, so it's going to be strong and slicey.
Yeah.
And just great as kind of your everyday utility blade.
Like beefy box cutter, man.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Very cool.
And again, same thing with the handles here. You got enough girth on them and enough, shaping underneath in terms of like index finger grooves and all that it feels very secure in the hand.
Great little 2-finger knife. Yeah.
Excellent.
And one thing that we're doing this year, we're toying with the idea of using G10 liners in normal production as opposed to the liners that we've been using over the years. So this one actually has a white G10 liner on it rather than a paper liner.
Nice.
So far so good on that. We just got to make sure the cost makes sense.
Right, of course.
But yeah.
And that's the Ivy.
Ivy. Yeah, the last name of the guy that designed it is Ivy. So
that works.
We figured that was a good start.
That works. All right.
Yes.
Tactical.
This guy is interesting.
Am I holding it correctly?
That's one way. The reverse grip is pretty comfortable as well.
Yeah.
A couple different ways. So this was designed by I forget his name, but he goes by Tier 1 EDC gear, I believe. And hopefully I'm not butchering that. I'll double check. But the design is really cool. This guy, he's got a couple of other designs. They're all very tactical in nature, mostly small, concealable type knives. Knives that you want to have when you get into a place where maybe you're not supposed to have stuff, that kind of thing. And so, really cool knife. And he sent us a couple of drawings. One of them was more like a fruit type knife, hawkbill. I believe it was a reverse edge. He makes a regular and a reverse. But more and more, he sent this drawing almost as just like let's just see what happens.
Right.
Because he hadn't even made one yet. He had no prototype, he had nothing. And he sent that to us.
And of course, that's the one you guys start gravitating towards. Yeah.
So Leo and I are looking over and we're like, yeah, this is cool. And the more we're looking at that one, we're like, I don't know, man. That one's really, I don't see anything like that anywhere else. Like, it's a little different. It's a little out there, but we were intrigued.
Yeah.
And at the very least, we were like, we have to at least prototype it and see if it works.
See what it does.
See how it feels.
You show me the good attack angles on that.
You have it. You've got your solid grip. Your thumb is locked in there, and you have the knife kind of forward of your hand. So for slashing, for stabbing, any kind of thing like that. This is a great grip.
That's the game.
Your
Yeah, that's the way.
reverse grip's going to work too. You got kind of an indexing point here, or you can really kind of bear
Cap
down
on
on
the
this
end.
thing.
Yep.
Cool blade. It's got this interesting straight section, and then kind of a tanto type point into a curved blade. Just a, like I say, I don't think there's anything else exactly like this that I've seen.
Right.
You know, a drop point's a drop point to an extent. What is this? I don't even know. Like it's not a tanto.
What
it's
would
not
we?
a-
I'm not sure what
yeah.
we're going to call this on the website in our spec field there.
I'm still trying to figure it out. But the more I handle it, the more I'm just like, this is comfortable. It's got some. It's well thought out. The guy that designed it, he's messed around a lot with this style of knife, with the crazy tactical stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just really good. I'm digging it so far.
It's really sweet looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very neat.
So-
All right.
Yes, this guy is a karambit and a kukri.
Kukrambit.
Kukrambit. I like that. I like that. I've seen a couple of people going that way on it. I kind of like that. So you have the functionality of a karambit. You could use this in a situation where you might want to cut somebody, but it's also that's a good utility knife.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to be chopping anything like a full-size kukri,
course, yeah.
of course, but the shape is so distinctive. We hadn't seen one of these. There's a lot of people now taking the karambit and putting different blades on it. And the guy that brought this to us, he's a dealer of ours somewhere in the Midwest, owns a cigar lounge primarily, but also sells knives and other stuff. So it's kind of like a man cave type store.
Sure.
And we just thought, you know what, that's cool. We haven't seen anything quite like that, and the design was solid.
Yeah.
And he's a good dude, so we were like, yeah, let's give this a
Let's
shot.
do something.
See what happens.
And you got like the pot lifter hook on the other side and everything. Not my first, or it wouldn't be the obvious choice to take camping with you, but why not?
Yeah. You know, that type of recurve that a kukri has, you get a lot of cutting power out of that recurve.
For sure. So on those pulls, that is just going to engage all that belly, and if you're thrusting it forward, man, that's a very natural point for that tip.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to go where you want it to go, even if you're not necessarily trained in how to use a knife in the offensive manner, you know?
Yeah.
Very
Absolutely.
cool.
So I'm digging it. I like that one.
Nice.
This
All right.
one isn't a new model.
Abanico?
Yes, this is an old, not old, but older design. A guy named Bram Frank. Ontario made this for I don't know how many years, but they made it for several years.
Yeah.
There's some custom versions out there. I believe he has some folding versions of this out there. This guy developed this knife as a kind of like the premier self-defense, kind of military guy knife. And cool design, got plenty of guard on this. Anybody that's looking for something that they can use for stabbing, for tactical purposes, like this thing's it.
Yeah, like there's no slipping forward on that with all that jimping. And if something is coming down the back side, I love that the front of that's jimped too, so that's not even going to slide off as easily. It might get trapped right there even.
Yep.
That's nice.
There's one little feature on this that when we were drawing it out, it struck me as odd, and I was like, what? Like, why is that there? And then after talking to the designer about it, he explained it to me, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's this little thing right here.
Okay, yeah,
See how
the little extra curve right there?
The handle ends, and then there's an extra little jump before you hit the guard, and it even kind of curves back in a little. That's 100% on purpose. It's not just aesthetic. What the guy told me is that as they were testing this knife, the guard is great. It's going to be hard to slip up on this no matter what, but that extra little thing it's almost a reflex, it's almost instinct that if you're stabbing something, your hand starts to slip, as soon as that finger starts to slip and hits the front of that, you immediately re-clench the knife.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
And he said that they tested that, and there was this reflex that people had as they would slip a little bit and immediately kind of re-grip and re-clench on the knife.
So it gives you that buffer zone, basically.
Yep. And you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
So.
And the hole through the handle, I'm guessing that's for indexing in the hold? Yeah.
Yep.
So right where your hand is. Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
So,
So now we got kind of a transitional knife between like the big tactical stuff here and some
Yes.
more outdoorsy designs,
Yes.
and that is name for this one yet? Or?
so no name yet. We're calling it prototype B1, I believe. Basically, the concept of this is like a mini boning knife, but most people, I think most guys in the industry are realizing that a lot of your paring, smaller kitchen type knives make really good self-defense knives.
Yeah. Well, you guys nailed that on the head last year with the LP and Arrow as
Yes.
well, and that was kind of
Yes.
my first thought. I kind of connected that with what I was seeing here.
Yeah. There's definitely some similarities. The blade, I believe the blades are roughly the same length overall.
But
I
even
remember right.
narrower here, of course.
Yeah, narrower, very different handle. So Leo actually, I don't know how many people know this about Leo, the guy that owns the company.
Mm-hmm.
He's the main designer for tops. Every design we bring from outside, he approves. Anything he's got to do to topsify it or make it look like it fits the tops lineup to begin with, he's the one making the little tweaks and changes and like, oh no, let's do this, let's do that. But he got his start with the company from the very ground and taught himself how to grind, taught himself how to make handles, taught himself how to do the knife making process. And that's what he enjoys the most.
Yeah.
Running the business, he's really good at it, but it's not his favorite
not
thing.
fun.
And so anytime he can, he'll go out into he's got a little custom shop near the main building, and whenever he can, he'll go out and make something. So this was him just relieving stress one day, grabbed a piece of metal, ground something out, and he ended up making two. One he gave to me for Christmas, which I have with me.
Oh,
actually.
nice.
Very, very, I'm proud of this one.
Oh, wow. Oh, that looks great.
Giraffe bone handle.
Man, the file work.
File work, blue G10 liners. It's basically polished. It's like a nice satin grind.
Sweet, man.
So he gave me one. He's got the other one, and everybody that he showed this to, as he was kind of busting it out, everybody was like,
You gotta do it.
Like this, we have to make this. It's not, you can't just make the two and call it good. Everybody was like, this has got to be part of the line, and so there it is.
So there it is. That is so cool.
So very cool design. I think you're right. It does kind of bridge the gap between the tactical and the outdoorsy use, because this one I'm going to use on fish. I'm going to use it. I'm going to take it camping and all that.
Yeah,
kind
like
of
a
stuff.
little bird and trout type of thing.
Yeah.
Little, small camp stuff, tiny bits of food prep,
Yeah.
or a shank.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool.
That one's very cool. I'm excited about that one.
Very cool. All
So,
right.
Next up, this one's from Julio Diaz. This is one that we debuted last year. It should be out early-ish this year. We're going to make this at a 154 cm.
Okay.
So this is probably the third of the knives that we have. We've got two or three knives that have a long handle with a short blade. Most short blades have short handles.
Right.
But we do
Some
like
long blades have short handles too.
right,
Sorry.
right. And so, but we do like that concept of you don't always need a long blade, but
But
sometimes
you
you
have the
want that
control.
full grip.
Yeah, absolutely.
we
and
like-
that is a full four-fingered grip.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we like this design from Julio. The other two that we have are both 1095. We're going to make this one in stainless, so it's going to be 154 cm. We're doing kind of a distressed black Cerakote finish that we're figuring out our own process in house for that. It's pretty cool, pretty fun project.
Nice.
Black G10 handles and red liners on that. So it'll be a good water-friendly knife. Coastal areas should do just fine. G10 and 154 cm will do well in that kind of environment.
For sure.
You're not going to have to maintain it like you would any of our other models.
And I'd say this is probably good for just about any hand size out there.
Yeah.
Thanks to the shape off the back. Like, you're just going to hang off the back. It's not constricting you at all. So
Exactly. Yeah.
dig it.
So smart design. This one should be out early-ish this year.
Early-ish.
Yeah.
It's a technical term.
Yes. All right, so this one is kind of a cross between our first fillet knife and our Scandi Woodsman or our Lioness model. It's a very similar handle. We did make some adjustments just to make that handle a little more full. And then kind of a short fillet knife type blade.
Fillet work, hunting work.
Yep, we see this as a great hunting knife, another knife that would be good for larger fish maybe. This one we put kind of a prototype handle on it. There's one of the material companies that we work with sent us a sample of G10 with carbon fiber mixed, and they were like, "Hey, what do you guys think about this?" We're like, "You know what?
cool.
Let's put it on something at shot and see what happens." So it came out really nice. I like that contrast between the G10 and the carbon fiber.
I think Sure Touch would be a good handle choice for this one too.
Sure Touch would be great as well. Yeah. So cool material, great looking blade. I dig this one as well. I think we're also going to do this one in 154 cm.
That would make sense. Yeah. I can see that being a great little camp food prepper as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like that's a slicey blade.
Yeah.
For sure. Look how nice and thin that is. Edge is great, of course. I dig it. I'm digging that a lot, actually. Yeah, very nice.
Yep. This one reminds me of like the old school Bowie camp kitchen type knives.
Yeah. It's got a hint of that like old Green River style,
Yep.
like the Frontier knives, mixed with that nice aggressive clip point on there. Yeah, man.
I'm not typically a clip point kind of guy. Like this is not usually my style, but I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, very cool. Really high grind on that. I think we're going to do this one in N690.
Okay, interesting.
Basically, Leo was like, you know what? We don't have a lot of knives that will do really well in like Florida on a boat. He's like, let's do
move into that a little bit.
Let's do something that'll be cool for like the bayou and areas like that where it's they're not going to take care of this.
Right.
They're going to cut stuff and then just throw it away wet. And it's like, yeah, let's use something that'll be very highly stain resistant, but still make a good blade.
Yeah.
So N690 I think is a good choice for that. For the stain resistance, the edge retention, of course, it's not going to be as good as some of your like real high end steels, but
it's capable stuff.
It's going to handle very well.
Yeah. Badger Creek, I like that. Handle feels really good. Yeah. That's a Frontier knife all the way.
Classic.
I dig it.
Yeah, it's just classic blade shape.
Fantastic. All right. Now these guys,
the big boys,
make me smile too. In the same way the little ones do.
Yeah.
But it's exactly the opposite. Let's talk about the Lilith first.
So Lilith was designed by Jason Johnson. He's a pro knife thrower. Hence the tapered back end on the handle.
Okay,
rather than most large knives are going to have some kind of swell or something to kind of keep it in your hand, keep it from flying out.
Yeah.
This one is the opposite because this guy throws his.
Right.
So
to make up for that lack of that, you got the finger ring there to keep it in your hand.
Yes.
I see.
So when you do want to hold on to it, you'll be able to.
Right.
And so yeah, 1/4 inch thick, long blade. I don't remember how long it is, but that's got to be a good 12, 13 inch blade.
Something like that, yeah, maybe even 14.
Possibly. Micarta handles, 1095, kind of bread and butter for tops.
Yeah.
And a solid design from a guy who does actually throw knives like this.
Yeah.
The prototypes that he made, I've seen videos and actually seen him throw one in person. Crazy. Blows my mind. Like that. This guy, the command he has on an object like this, it scares the crap out of me. But for him, it's like normal. He was holding this with the finger thing, flipping it around his finger. I mean, you're talking like this is like
pretty
this is like death zone.
I don't like those dimensions for that.
Yeah, and he's doing it like nothing.
Like it's nothing else.
Comfortable.
What I like about that finger ring though is actually if you're using this as your chopper, like folks know if you get that snap cut thing going, you can build up extra power than if you're just like going ham on a thing.
Yeah.
And this is actually really, it intrigues me to kind of try that out in that kind of situation, because when you're doing that, you're letting go with these fingers.
Yeah.
And so to have that extra bit of retention because of the ring, something about that I really like. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
That's cool.
He thought it through quite a bit. I think he made 3 or 4 prototypes when he first made them. We have the one to get it done. Once it's released, he's going to get that back, and then this one should be out again, probably 2 or 3 releases from now. So we're talking like maybe March, maybe February.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm digging that.
That one is very cool.
And the Gununting.
Yes. So we're not sure on the name yet. Ginunting is actually the type of blade that this is. It's a Filipino sword. You know, the Filipino martial artists, they use a lot of crazy stuff like this. They got the sticks, they got blades like this, they got small blades. This is one of those. This one actually came about. There's a guy named Adam Boyce. He goes by Spartan Mode on a lot of his social media channels. He does a lot of blade training in his day job. I don't know if I could tell what he does for his day job, but it has to do with guns. It has to do with guns, and so he's very much in the world. And the blade style that he does is martial blade concepts. And so they've taken a lot of their like curriculum from Filipino martial arts and tried to simplify it as much as they can. And so when he brought this to us, he was trying to get onto that Forged in Fire, Knife or Death show that they did 2 seasons of.
Yeah.
And he was like, I need a blade to take, but I want you guys to make one. And Leo was like, you know, we don't do this. He's like, but you know, let's do it. And so we made them. We made, I think, 2. He had the one, we had the other, and then he ended up being a backup, and they didn't call him on, but he kept his, we kept ours, and every time I look at prototypes that never were, I kept coming back to this, and I was like, Leo, what do you think about like making this one? And it took him a couple of years, and he was like, no, let's do it. This thing's cool. It's big. It's, you know, it can be used as a sword, or you could use this outside, clear and brush, and grain, as you were saying.
Yeah, like it feels to me, it's like a sigh or like a wheat thresher almost, but with a handle on it instead of a big pole. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
Gosh, man, like that's just gonna gather and cut.
Yeah.
Whatever is in its path, man.
Yeah. So very cool design. We're excited about this one. Adam is a great guy. And so we're happy to be working with him on it.
Awesome. There's no other word for it but that. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we've got to take a look at right now. Like I said, the Shadow Hunter should be available real soon if it's not already on the KnifeCenter's website. And look for this upcoming stuff throughout the year. Frog Market Special with a pocket sheath. That's what I'm all about.
Me too.
That would be great.
Me too.
Man.
I'm hoping that's what we do.
Fantastic. All right, folks. Thanks so much, Craig. Appreciate your time, man.
Of course. Always a pleasure.
Keep sticking around for the rest of our SHOT Show coverage.